Well, we're ready for that race this afternoon. Round 6 of the National Saloon Cup. Roger Mode on pole. They line up and away they go. Good start. Tony Rukkinen, incidentally, who had the puncture, is starting right at the back of the grid as a result of failing to finish the earlier race. But here they come into Rich's corner, sweeping through there. There is Rukkinen already. Rukkinen's managed to cut his way through half the field. And a stunning start by Tony Rukkinen. Well, it just shows you the class of the man. He's managed to get that car off the line. He's up to something like 6 already as they come out of Sears and back in the pack. Alistair Inglis there in the Toyota Carina. Daniel Eves, though, leads for Peugeot out front, down towards the S's. He'll be looking right and left to make sure nobody's coming up the inside or outside of him. Nobody is. Roger Mell now, the winner of round 5, tucked in behind him, and Simon Harrison and Mark Lemmer battling it out. Harrison only finished 4th in that previous race, remember, the championship leader when we arrived here at Snetterton, and he will be looking to try and get up the top end, but the business end really, in this race. There is Richard Mines. Well, he's managed to get round the first pair of corners without running out wide this time in his Honda Integra. Towards as they come, hard braking into Russell, the slowest part of the Snetterton circuit. Snetterton just under 2 miles in length, 1.952 if you want the precise measurements. Although I suppose that does depend whether you take a tight or an easy line. Oh, there's not an easy line back there for Kevin Hicks, running wide in the Honda Civic. Well, he managed to gather it all back up together anyway. And across the line they come to complete the first lap of 12. Daniel Eves leading from Roger Moe, Simon Harrison. These three, incidentally, starting to put a little bit of a breakaway now because of the gap back to 4th place Mark Lemmer. Now, Lemmer, who's got Tony Rukkinen up to 5th place. I remind you again, Rukkinen started from the very back of the grid, and that is just a sensational drive from him in these opening couple of laps. Eves, though, well, trying to keep Roger Moe behind him. Moe, though, with his tail up at the moment, having taken that victory in the earlier race, and there's a great squabble going on there for 4th and 5th. Stuart Clark's running well back in 6th place. Oh, Brian Ward's off into the tyre wall. Well, he didn't have a huge impact there. It looks like he's going to rejoin. I think he's just spun the back end out there from the trajectory into the tyre wall, but he gathers it all back together again. He will rejoin at the back of the field, but the Bowman Racing prepared Peugeots running superbly well here at the moment. First place for Daniel Eves, and back there in 5th place Tony Rukkinen as Kermit goes to the inside of Barry Barnes in the RS2000 and picks up a place. Well, this championship really has gone from strength to strength this year, with the manufacturers being persuaded by those drivers who run either their own team or by the factory teams such as Bowman and Mardi Gras Motorsport for that matter, who run the 2nd place car there, the red car of Roger Moe. Factory teams persuading manufacturers to get behind this championship, and with quite an array of machineries out there. Proton are involved, so too, as we see with Barry Barnes, the RS2000, but the Honda Integra has been the dominant car in this championship. Now then, through the corner, bit of a squabble, just a chance to see again. Oh, and it's Tony Rukkinen muscling his way through into that 4th place. Well, the leader continues to be Dan Eves, but 2nd place coming under pressure, Roger Moe. Simon Harrison wants that 2nd place and the vital points that go with it. 20 points for a win in this championship and 15 for 2nd place, so those 5 points could make a huge difference, not just at the end of the season, but to your mental approach to the championship campaign throughout the season. If you can just get that extra place, and Simon Harrison goes through it. That's the place where Roger Moe was tapped by Tony Rukkinen before he picked up that puncher. And again, you don't want to run out wide at Coram, which is where they are, but the leader out of Russell. Look at the lead he's got now. You see what happens is 2nd and 3rd are squabbling away, Roger Moe and Simon Harrison here in the number 4 and number 40 cars respectively, and Daniel Eves is able to take the pressure off himself and just drive smoothly and comfortably in that lead position without having to worry about protecting his line. Look how he lifts a wheel through there. Oh, 3 wheels on my wagon, I'm still rolling along in 3rd place. Harrison on to rev it straight. Had to put an extra bit of tarmac down there a couple of years back because drivers were off into the fields that surround Snetterton. It's a very flat circuit, no real undulations like there are on other circuits, and again Harrison has a peek down the inside, can't see a way through that, so gets back line astern. Tony Rukkinen, meantime, is closing in. Rukkinen can see these two fighting it over this pair of positions and can think to himself, as again Harrison lifts that rear right wheel, watching through the fast right-handers here, and you'll see that right rear wheel being lifted up, but Rukkinen thinks, I think I might be in with a shout and a squeak at a podium finish here if I can just keep these two ahead of me fighting it out. Again, look how much smoother through Russell Complex Tony Rukkinen is, and it is now almost certainly a battle for second place. Has become a three-way battle because again Roger Moan trying to see Harrison go down the inside of him. Harrison's alongside this time and he'll get through. Well, Harrison, perhaps he was kidding us all along, and look at Rukkinen as well. Roger Moan had to back off there as Harrison was on the inside of him, and Tony Rukkinen looking to seize advantage of that. Not sure if he's quite close enough though. Might do it this time, get in the slipstream, try and get a toe down Revit straight, and that is exactly what Tony Rukkinen's doing, and Rukkinen pulls out. He's going to be side by side with Roger Moan. He's got the inside line into the SS. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? It will be Tony Rukkinen. Oh, brilliant manoeuvre by Rukkinen. Round the inside, the classic manoeuvre again. So it's Peugeot first and third at the moment. Simon Harrison better get his wits about him. Poor old Roger Moan. Well, perhaps he's content with the victory in the previous round and thinking, those points will do me very nicely, thank you. Well, further back in the field, Kermit in the Proton, the French driver racing under the pseudonym, being charged down at the moment by Daniel Eves as we get into the closing stages. Daniel Eves, well, nice bit of friendly French motoring there. Kermit pulls over, puts the indicator on to let Dan Eves know exactly what's going on. Mind you, you can't miss these brightly liveried yellow cars, thank you very much. One of the hand gestures we do like to see in motorsport. There are some others from time to time. Now the back markers making their way through. Where is Daniel Eves? Here he is, towards the checkered flag this time. Or rather, I beg your pardon, he'll be coming round to start his final lap this time. And Simon Harrison under pressure there from Tony Rukkinen behind him. And again, good driving from Kermit, keeping well out of the way. So here he comes to start his final lap. Daniel Eves with a 6.5 second advantage over second place Simon Harrison. Tony Rukkinen, though, looking ominous there in third place. Well, Rukkinen knows he's got one lap to make a do-or-die attempt, and Harrison needs to keep that position if he is to maintain his championship advantage, or certainly the points in the bag at the moment. Behind Daniel Eves, they are squabbling furiously. Eves, though, is he about to take the first ever victory in the National Saloon Cup for Peugeot? It certainly looks that way, and Rukkinen's through. So Rukkinen, as they came out of Sia, has gone through to make it, at the moment, a Peugeot 1-2. Simon Harrison looks down the inside in the Honda Integra, can't quite find a gap through there. Rukkinen's made that 306 GTi very wide indeed. Towards as they come into Coram, the long right-hander, it goes on forever and ever, and that's where Rukkinen picked up the puncher, and Harrison tries to fight back. Daniel Eves, though, looks on his way to a historical victory for Peugeot at the moment. He's only got the Russell Complex to make it through there. Out he comes across the apex, changes gear into third, snatches four. Come up towards me, that checkered flag, says Daniel Eves. He punches the air with delight and takes the first ever victory, and it's a supreme 1-2 for Peugeot with the 306s. Oh, the Bowman team will be delighted with that, and so too is Dan Eves.
I knew it was pretty much down to whether I got a good start or not, so whether I could get ahead of Roger Moan. I did that, tucked across in front of him, took the line, and from then on it was just try and get my head down, not look in my mirrors, and pull out from the rest, which I knew we could do.
And first victory in this championship for Peugeot?
Well, I mean, it's twofold. It's the first victory for Peugeot, and it's a second place as well, so we've done the 1-2. Ecstatic for Tony as well to drive from the back of the grid to the front and to finish behind me. I can see it happening in my mirrors, so absolutely over the moon.
Well, talk about over the moon. The celebration goes on for the Bowman racing team, and great delight all round. They're a major force in Formula 3, of course, and now absolutely delighted to get that famous 1-2. And there is Daniel Eves picking up his prizes and the awards, and there's confirmation of the result. Simon Harrison gets third, Roger Moan fourth, Mark Lemmer there in fifth place, with Stuart Clark sixth. Well, all that means that at the top of the championship, just 1 point separate Roger Moan and Simon Harrison. While they celebrate, we're looking forward to Rally Hour. Some great British action coming up for you, and all that after the break.